Okay, I want to look at the uh, use popcorn um, program files. So your seventh program, and I want to download this and final. So how do we download it? I believe I might have this downloaded. I think. Okay, let's just extract everything and extract. Let's just wait for this. Wait. So use popcorn final um copy and 2025 React learn projects hidden split uh use pop that should do it. And let's open up a command prompt and cd. Let's just use dir and cd2 final edit code. So package.json npm install. A lot of deprecated shits. It's okay. Also, let's open up so what is the code to script start build test? Okay, npm start. Let's just run start. Let's just use that. So this is a finished, I believe. Search movies inside. Okay, something went wrong. What is that? Already some thing. Unauthorized. Okay, I'll try to fix it and come back. Okay, the API is working. So let's say Avengers. Still, we're getting some errors. Okay, all right. I made everything seem to work. So what I needed to do was go to the OMDB API and set up for the service. It sends you an email. Motherfuckers didn't activate my API key unless I had to click this link. We motherfuckers. And then after that I activated it, and then I had to use like this. God damn it! If I even if the parameters are reversed, it wouldn't work. Anyway, now everything seems to work. Found All right. So I'm gonna use the Photoshop to do some analysis. Create a new file, custom. Okay. Now let's just take a screenshot and then put it here. Okay, get out of here. And then we're gonna create new. Okay. So what's happening here? So there are. Oh yeah, the brush. Let's select the third layer and okay. So there are two, uh, three components here. First one is this nav bar, and there's this. I believe this is a just a box, and then inside of this we got two thingies. I believe this guy is calling movie list or something. He's probably calling this movie list, and he's calling this movie details. I believe. So if we just select this, so there are a couple of things that happen when we select a movie. It shows movie details. When we close this, we get this movie summary screen or whatever. So first, let's look at the nav bar. So how would I create this nav bar? So what do I see? So I see first of all I see a logo and name and input and some way to get the state variable. All we need is these uh, four things to render the um, a nav bar. So let's see how it is doing. Okay, where is my brush? It's gotta be some P. Okay, so here it is. Okay, let me open up the thingy. Where is it? I'm looking for the nav bar. Okay, nav bar. So we got search and num results. Right? Search, query, and set query. I believe it's pretty where is saving at the top level. So let's let's create a layer to keep track of all of this stuff. So let's call this state. First we got app state, and here it says saving query. So query It's probably, so it's taking query and set query. So it's using this query, is probably using it, is making the React control components. Unchanged is setting the query. Reference, input element, use ref. Don't know, dude. So when we press enter, I think he didn't explain this part. So the queries job is basically setting. So this input job is pretty much setting the query. So how about this num result? So the num results takes in movies. So the app again contains movies. So it contains movies. So these movies are from the API. So he's getting the movies from use movies query. He's passing the query, and I'm surprised. Use, I think he's calling it. So whenever this runs, use movies query. So this is running, right? So whenever the app, some value is changed, a query is called or whatever. I don't know. For now, let's just ignore how he is getting the movies. He didn't explain that. So that's for the now bar. So if you get hold of the uh, movies array, you can pretty much easily render this. So let's look at these two movie details. So we got main, and inside of that we got two boxes. So we calls this box, and inside of that box, we got movie list. So let's go. So let's look at the first one. Let's create another one. Let's call this movie details. So movie details. So in the movie details, what do we need? So this is just just some column, and inside of that we got items. So what do we need? For this we need the name of the movie, and what is this? Some sort of year, and the image. So we get that result from the API. We would have made the API call by now. So when we make the API call, it's loading, and all of this is going to be true. So it's loading is also in the app component. In the app component, let's see. So in the app component, we also have its loading state. It's loading state. And then we will just pass the movies list to the movie list. So in the movies list, we are only rendering the movie. The movie takes in the movie object. It takes the whole object and returns this this item. So we got image, takes in a poster and a title and movie year. So it's pretty easy to render this. So we can pretty much easily render this. We can pretty easily render this as long as we have movie object. Movie object is needed. So when we click on this, what happens? So when we click on this, what happens? So when we click on this, on movie select, on select movies run, where are we getting that? So we're actually getting that from the um, app component. So when we click on that, we get an ID, and then we set the ID on the top level. Selected ID. So selected ID. So in the top component, we select ID. So when we click on it, we set the select ID. So what's next? If the select ID exists, we run movie details. So movie details gets the selected ID is given, and then this is run. This is pretty easy to create. We need a image and title, and then year and minutes and genre, rating, and then we have a custom component here. And after that, it's pretty easy to write it. So this is the only thing that's a bit complicated. So movie details, on close movie, on add watched and watch. All right, let's see where for the shop. Okay, let's go and create that. So let's call it movie details. So movie details, it gets like on close. What we need to define what we need to do when we close it, and then we have a star component here. Star component that takes in how many stars we want to give this movie, and we can add this to watch list. Add to watch list. We can add this to watch list. So let's go to movie details. So in the movie, we're getting the selected ID on close and on add watched. So what does the unclose? What does unclose do? So there's a button in here, I think. So let's see. Handle add. So when we add, we close, and then there's this button, and that's also closes. So this is it. So there's two buttons. This is the close button. This just closes this model. Okay, so this is to close the models, which is weird. So we know what the functionality of onClose is. We're gonna look at onAdd. So selected ID. This takes in a selected ID, and then use state movie. Okay, this is creating a movie state, and it's also creating a loading state, and it's keeping track of user rating. So use effect. If user rating exists, count ref. What is this count ref? I have no idea what this is. In any case, is watched. Okay, we're checking if the watched movie exists. If the movie we are selected watched is in the watched array, then we can do that by mapping over the watched array and checking every uh, we're just converting the array into um, a list of IMDb IDs, and then we're checking if the selected ID includes in that array. If that's the case, we're gonna return true. Watched find movie ID. So on watched user ID, then we're also checking uh, if there is a movie with the um, this whatever the IMDb ID with the selected ID, then we're gonna you call the user rating. So watch user rating. We'll get two things. So we're checking two things. Check two. Checking. So first we're checking is the movie watched, and we're getting user rating. So these are the two things we're doing. Pretty easy to do. And then movie. So we're extracting all of this and renaming it. So these things are needed to render the component. So we're not gonna worry about handle function for now. So effect. So whenever this component first run, we will fetch the um, movie and then data, response data, and then we set the movie data to movie, signal files, and get movie details, we call that. So first we create an async function, and then we call and then we call that async function. Okay, so that's pretty much it, and that sets the this movie object. So this is just setting the title. Is loading. If the is loading is true, we display a loader, and then in the header we have this button, and then poster of the movie, image, title, release, genre. Okay, this is, I think, the header component. And then in the section we show the is watched star rating and add to list. Okay, that's pretty much it for the movie details. So what are the things we're missing? So what are we missing? So missing is how do we add to watch list, watch array, and how does star component work? Star component, how does it work? So it's pretty easy to add this to watch list, to watch array. So first, we need to create the star component. So, and then we get a button add to list. To add, we just need to um, just use the setter function. So I believe it gets the setter function. So on add watch. So whatever, I believe we get the setter function. So we're gonna display the add to list when we have user rating that's greater than 0, and then unclick handle add. We call handle add. So where is it? On the handle add, we create all the required properties for the movie array. So we create IMDb, and we get the title. Where is the title? So I believe the title. So either we're getting it from here, or so here. Wait a minute here. Poster, IMDb rating, uh, number, IMDb runtime, user rating. Runtime split. So this adds to the watched array. So add to list. Yeah, it closes, and this another one is displayed. What movies you watched? So now let's look at that. So the next thing is watched summary. I think watched summary. Let's just lock this as well, and there we go. Selected the brush. So this watched movie is doing a lot of things here. So first we're checking the length of the movies, watched movies array, and we're probably averaging all of those things. We're averaging, we're totaling. So this component does some basic arithmetics and displays the statistics. So let's see how he is doing all of this. So we only display the movie details when the selected ID exists. If it isn't, we just display the watched summary. So how do we make the selected ID something a false value? So we can make that. Let's go to on close movie, handle close movie. Where is it? Handle close movie. Okay, so we're just setting it to null, so that way it just becomes false. So watched summary, we are passing the watch movies array, and then we are trying to average IMDb rating, average movies rating, average runtime. So we're taking each movie, and we're getting the so we're just getting the IMDb rating. So array of IMDb rating, and then we're just getting user rating. So these are just average runtime, and then movies you watched, movies length, And then so let's just add on this one quickly, give it a 10, and then we got two movies, and this is 2.8 and 8. This one's now not even working. Well, look at this, it's not even working. So this is not working. So let's just quickly console log what is happening. So console log average DB rating and average user rating and average runtime. And let's see the console log. So okay, we're using a average function. What is this average function? Where is this average function defined? So this average function takes in an array and then starts at 0. Accumulator is 0. Current is some. So the current value, index, and what is this? Yep, it's doing something. This function I need to study this function for a little further. So let's go and create coding challenge. Let's create a new node called what the hell is this? Average function. Yes, and paste it. So we're gonna watch out for that. Can we go back to? Okay, I think we can go back here. So let's just go back. It didn't go back. So we're finding the average and we're displaying it. And that's pretty much it. And that's pretty much it for this. There are two components. This is movie summary and this is watch movies list. And then in the watch movies list, we take in the array and we display watch movie. So this watch the movie just displays these things. So poster, title, IMDb rating, and user rating, runtime, and this button. So this is just displaying stuff at this point, like taking in it takes a object and displays the numbers. So this presentational component, and then there's this button that does something until it watched. So it takes the movie IMDb ID and does something with it until it function does. So it's got to be like modifying the so it takes the ID and sets the watch it modifies the watched array. So it filters out so the one way to remove an element from an array is just removing the element from the array. So we use the filter, we take the movie, we take every element, and we only put the movie in the array if the ID doesn't match. If it matches, it's getting dropped out. So we modify the array, and that's pretty much it. Everything will work as expected because this component only depends on the watch array. So it's gonna render correctly if we pass in some modified watch array. So that's it for now. That's it for this. Everything seems pretty straightforward. So the complex thing is obviously the fetch, I guess. So where is it? Control L for this garbage. Um, Shit. Exit for now and Control L. Fetch. I need to look into fetch and star component. So how would I create a star component? So let's just remove everything. Star component. This star component, when we think about components, we need to think in terms of like functions. The star component takes in size and a length or something, or amount of stars. So we want to render some sort of star icon, or typically is just using a SVG, and is giving it color and size. The star component internally keeps track of state, internal uh, internal state, and it exposes state. So we can only do that by passing in state setting function. So it has its own state management, plus uses the state we provide. We It updates the state, updates external null state. It does look a little bit complicated, but we can do this. So let's go to star component, watch the movies list. No, it's in the movies list, movie details, I believe, in the movie details. Okay, in the movie details, where is it? Okay, star component. So this star component has default value of 5, default color of something yellow, size, messages, default ratings, default rating unset. Okay, rating. It's keeping track of the rating state, and it's keeping track of temp rating. So that's used for the hover thingy. Mm, mm, So this is the temp rating, right? When we hover it, we display the temp rating. So we got some, we are designing it. So let's not look into it. We create a temporary array. We create an array using array. We call the array set array class, and from method and length, we pass in a length object, a max rating, and then we also pass in a callback. This callback creates a list of these elements. So we get the element itself and index. We create star components. We create a list of star elements with this. So the star, there's a star component. This takes in on rate, what we need to do when we click on the on rate full, whether a star is full or not, and hover in, hover out, color, size. So we're just creating a list of arrays. So passing the key value, full, temp rating. So we're checking whether the star should be full or not by checking the rating. If the rating is greater than or equal, so if the first, so let's say the okay, let's say where's it? The temp rating is 3 and the first element is 1. Temp rating temp rating is 3, the index is probably 1. So the temp rating is greater than 1, and yes, so true. What do we do when it's true? So temp rating exists, and if the, so we're checking it exists. If it exists, we check whether this is true. If it's true, then rating. If it's true, it displays this exists. If it's this, it's true. If temp rating doesn't exist, this checks this. Rating whatever does this thing. This also returns some sort of boolean. So these two returns booleans. So on rating, we check handle rating, set temp rating, and hover out, set temp rating to 0. So hover in, hover out. When we hover in, we set the temp rating. When we take out, we set it to 0. On rate, we call the handle rating. So what handle rating is basically just set the rating. We set the rating to the rating. Set rating, what is this onset rating? Oh, we also set the external state, color, size, message. If the message length, so in the style, text styles. So messages length is max rating, then only we will use the messages object. If the messages length doesn't even exist, if the message max rating, if it doesn't exist, then we just, so then what we're gonna do, so this looks a little bit complicated. First, we are checking the message length. If the message contains a message array, so message array contains every message, and if it's the case, we take the temp rating. If the temp rating exists, we call temp rating. We use the message. So we'll use the temp rating message. Else we will use the rating message. If it doesn't, we will use the temp rating. If the temp rating exists, and we'll use rating. If temp rating doesn't exist, and we'll use empty string if nothing exists. So that's start component, and let's look at how the fetch is working. So let's see. I believe he's supposed to use the abort controller or whatever. It's not using here. So abort controller, we're not using anything here. So abort controller is only used because we made a lot of requests. So use effect. First thing is using the use effect, and then use getting the abort controller, because so where is it? So where's the return? So anyway, we need the controller. For now, let's just ignore it. So he's creating a fetch movies function, and he will call that fetch movies function here. So first is setting the set is loading to true and set error to empty, and then he fetches, and if the result is not okay, he throws a new error. Something went wrong with fetching movie. And if the data, it gets the data in our JavaScript object, and if the data response is false, throw movie not found, and it just sets the data to it sets the movie's data and set error to empty. And I don't know why it does this, because it doesn't set. Okay, so with the where does he set the error? Where does he set error? So he's throwing an error right here. So he's throwing error right here. So at the end of the call, he resets, and if there was a previous error thrown or something, and in the catch, if the error was thrown, it's checking if the error is abort error. If that's the case, if the error was abort error, it does set the error to error message. Finally, it sets the loading to false. And it's checking query length. If the query length is less than 3, it sets to set movies to empty array, and set error to empty, and returns. So he early returns if the length is less than 3. So it doesn't even call the fetch movies. So this is the cleanup function. This cleanup function control just aborts. So every time query and aborts, pretty much it. And it just returns the movies is loading error. I guess that's pretty much it for this app.